Hello and welcome back to another video. Last week you seen me make a little miniature 1/16 mattress, which was a success but was also fairly difficult. Now, since doing this project, I have come up with a new and improved technique to create a much easier no-sew mattress, which is super quick and a lot more easy to make. So if you're interested in doing that, please keep watching. So in order to start this project, you're going to need your template for the mattress itself. We're working in 1/12 scale here, which is your average dollhouse size. And I have written them down here for you in a minute, and you can screenshot them if you want to use them in your project. This is your sort of general sizing. It's not completely accurate to something that you want to size down in particular, but these are the general sizes. So once you have that, you want to get yourself some fabric. I've chosen just a white cotton for this, any fabric will do, and some kitchen sponges. This is the cheapest way to get sponge, I think. And you want to also cut yourself out some cardboard that we're going to be using as a base with your template. Now, the depth of this mattress, or how high it is conveniently about 1/2 inch, which is the size of these sponges cut in half, which is really handy. You want to save the bit that you cut off because you could use that for anything else, sofas or any other miniature project, so keep them bits. So you want to cut these in half, and then once you have finished cutting them in half, you're going to just trim them up slightly. Because I'm making the double size mattress, I ended up using about 4 kitchen sponges for this. So just trim off a few bits to make it as flat as possible, and then sandwich them together until you get a sort of SpongeBob shape. And you're going to glue these onto the board itself, but also you need to glue them together first. So for this whole project, I just used hot glue, which worked really well for everything. So this is really the only adhesive that you need for this project. And I just glued them all together in a square. So once you have this, you may have a little ridge down the middle, which you can fill in with a few scrap pieces if you want to. Just trim off the excess edges, and you want to glue that onto your cardboard base. Also, the sponges have a nice rounded edge, so that can work quite nicely for the mattress. Trim off any excess that you don't need and round off the corners if you would like to do that. Now we can move on to the fabric. So as you can see here, this fabric is quite thin and you may see some yellow coming through from the sponge. So I decided to double this up, but it really depends on your fabric. So you want to cut it a little bit wider than you need, so you have enough excess to wrap around the base, and you want to pleat the corners so you have a nice even edge. Again, did this with hot glue. I had to do this like 2 times because I have double the fabric, but you just want to go around the whole thing and gradually making it tighter as you go around, a bit like miniature upholstery, and eventually you will have a nicely tight little pillow shape, and you want to make some nice neat joins as well. You can cut out the excess fabric to make it less bulky if you know how to do that. I'm not that too sure on it, so it ended up being a bit bulky, but it's okay because you can just cut the excess off. So here is the bed mattress, as you can see here, all nicely tight and smooth. Don't worry about the back because we will be covering that up later on. So you could stop here really if you wanted a really simple mattress, but for me, I'm going to try and replicate that pleated look that you see on mattresses around the edging. So in order to do this, get yourself a strip of the same fabric, and you're going to be doubling it over at the top and leaving enough excess to wrap around. So I used some twine for this, and I'm just going to create a little flap, and you can see here how I'm doing it. It's kind of hard to explain, but yeah, you're going to glue down that so you create like a little piping detail. And I did this with hot glue, which was a little bit tricky but is doable. but I would recommend, if you do have fabric glue, to use that instead for this part. So as you can see, I just kept going along the length. You want to make sure you have enough length to go all around the mattress, and as you can see, it creates a sort of faux piping without it having to be sewn to the actual mattress. Now you could also leave it here, but I'm going to create a double piping technique which will go around the whole depth of this mattress. So I'm doing the exact same thing again, but just like maybe a couple of centimeters down. So I create this strip of double piping with an edge on the end that will then wrap around and I can glue on. So I just did the same technique again, and I ended up with this little strip with 2 piping details on it, and that will go around the height or depth of the mattress all around the edges. So in order to attach that, again, just hot glued the whole thing. When you're doing this, make sure you don't glue too high onto the strip that you're attaching, because if it goes onto the top of the mattress, it might look a bit messy. But if you do have some hanging edges or edges that are not glued on properly, just glue them slightly down, and you can glue the little bits of piping down as well. So this is how it was looking. It's starting to look pretty realistic. I just joined it on the side, but it might be better to join it at the corner so it's less noticeable if you are really picky about those type of things. So the next thing to do was to sketch out the points where I'm going to be tufting it. Now this is an extra detail that you don't have to do, but it really makes the mattress look realistic. So in order to do that, you need to make a French knot and pull up your string from the back of where your point is, wrap it around the needle 2 or 3 times, place back into the hole, but just slightly above the hole, and pull through. You want to hold onto your thread whilst you do this as well. And then just knot it at the back 2 times, make sure it's a double knot, and eventually, once you have done the whole pattern design, you will get a lovely tufted effect, which turned out really, really well on this one. And to finish the mattress off, you can just cover it up with another piece of fabric. Just double it over and hot glue all around. You're not going to be seeing it anyway, so it's not a big deal if it's a little messy. But that is my tutorial on how to make the new and improved tutorial on this tufted mattress with pleated edges, piped edges, sorry. And it works really, really well, and I'm really happy with it. Much easier than my last one, messing around with the sewing machine. It really wasn't worth it, but if you do want to do some hand sewn details or pieces on the sewing machine, you can do that also with this and just adapt it to your own vision. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one, where I will probably be making some bedding to go with these mattresses. I also don't have much use for this mattress at the moment because this was just for a tutorial, so if anyone is interested in purchasing this particular mattress, just check out my Etsy store where it will be listed. Thanks so much for watching, bye!